Brothers and sisters, generals, welcome to another edition of EBX discussion and/or hip hop heavy hitters. And this is part 6. And as I always say, thank those that's been riding along with the brother, my divine warriors, brothers, sisters, family in the world and online. You know, we always go above and beyond. And good day, good afternoon, and good evening, whatever time zone that we may be in. You know, I'm always gonna speak on hip hop. I said I was gonna do a whole lot of these, and again, I'll be giving tributes to artists and groups and things like that to the day one transitions, because there are some great artists out there, and so many, you know, brothers and sisters. So, you know, as the gifts that we manifested come from, you already know, our ancestors. That's why I always honor thy ancestor, brother or sister, far and near, those who fought so very hard to get many of us in a great divine space that we are in. And that's brothers and sisters that were warriors, the true ones. You know, that spirit is still living among us today. That's how we embrace our ancestors, you know. And you know, let's get to it. You know, hip hop heavy hitters, you know, part 6. And this is a tribute, as you can see on my thumbnail and/or banner, the wonderful dynamic group. You know, I like that word dynamic. You know, I use that to describe, you know, different groups that's just different. You know, it's a lot of them out there, you know. But Outkast, as we all know, was very different. You know, had a style like Andre 3000. Those two brothers and Big Boy. Salute to Big Boy, one of the smoothest lyricists. His voice, the way it sounds, they both had their own power, individual power in their own way, and they never clashed that I can think of. I don't think they ever had any disagreements or beefs that I can think of. So that's wonderful, and they brought great music. And as you can see on my banner and/or thumbnail, this is from the song Fresh and So Clean. Don't you think I'm so sexy? I dress so fresh and clean, so fresh and so clean. And they jammed in that video. We all know, I'm sure everybody have seen the video. They jammed, and I watched it because now, you know, as most of us are hip hop heads, salute my hip hop heads. You know, when we become a little more mature and a little more educated about music in general, but especially hip hop, for my hip hop heads, we look at songs and videos different, you know. So, and I'm talking old school blues, because I do blues too. You know, Al Green, you know, back in them days, Luther Vandross, all kinds of music. I'm not just one-sided. I try to educate all areas and all elements of music, which is fun too. That's something I reiterate, brothers and sisters. Never forget to have fun. Have fun with our music, our crafts, our gifts, whatever that is. You know, embrace our skills and abilities. Real talk, it's important. And of course, I'm gonna have a summary. I'm gonna read about that, and I'm gonna play a couple songs. One is called This Is Chess, and it's on my channel here. I just wanted to play it. Kind of relates to life, music, you know, get into the core of ourselves, so we can produce good things and manifest our gifts and abilities, and whatever ability that is, as long as it's helping ourselves and helping others the best way we can, whether it's in a small space or we're working toward a big space, as long as it's what? Righteous in our soul, and everything else righteous will follow. It's automatic. That's how the universe, great divine, Mother Nature works. You know, we let things come naturally. And what are the things that we let come? Needs. Take care of the needs. Great divine, that's what he takes care of. That force, and the wants will come. righteously. That's what it's all about. But yeah, but Outkast, we all know, was a great man. Fun music. Andre 3000. In this video I got on my banner and their thumbnail, those brothers was jamming. And as I was saying, we study music and videos more now, or just music in general, not just the video, but music. But they had looked like they had so much fun, and that's what I look for in an artist. Not to take things so serious. Of course, we give our perspectives through music, maybe speaking on the serious side of life. But that's why I always bring up all the time, never forget to have fun. That's the other song I'm gonna play called I think it's Get Your Dance On. Yeah, Get Your Dance On, if I'm not mistaken. I'll when I get to the song, I'll see if that's the title. I might have not said the title right, but yeah, Andre 3000, they jammed in that video. They was dancing, man. They was dancing their butt off. I didn't know Big Boy could dance like that. Big Boy used to throw down. And Andre 3000, their energy was off the chain. And so that's what brought me to them. I want to give them a tribute. And of course, anybody listening to this channel, you already know that I have other list of artists. And it could be brother or sister, just some artists that came to my mind. Duels, you know, it could be brothers or sisters, but just music that I kind of researched and was thinking about that brought fun and joy to our lives. You know, again, that's another element to music. You know, I always say, do what we love what we do, you know, righteously. You know, I mean, if we're doing wrong and toxic, you know, good, you know, have fun with that. But again, we don't forget about the serious things of the world, ways and sways and things to enlighten us. But again, don't forget to have fun too, especially in our music, because that's what make it, you know, the spontaneous song we make on the spot, or a hook we think of just right then and there. That's my cousin L'Oreal Lyrical, may she rest in peace and in power. That's what we did when we made a song called Stop the Violence, and literally right on the spot we thought it and we sung it, we wrote it down, boom, and within an hour we had a whole song. So that's why, again, embrace our skills and or abilities, you know, and that's whatever that is, you know, especially if it's helping us, you know, that's a plus, you know. Righteous ripple effect. We start with ourselves, family, children, I always say this, significant other, and work our way out. Keep that energy going, you know, wherever we are, start right where we are, you know. But yeah, I just wanted to, you know, how I do, I give a little tribute to whoever's on my thumbnail and or banner, which is today is Outkast. And I was just mesmerized by that video, and man, Andre 3000 just cheesing and smiling and them long legs. Yeah, they was getting it in. They jammed. I was like, I had goosebumps going through my body because I love music, and you know, people dancing and, you know, watching artists have fun with their craft. You know, we got to have fun too, like I said. So as I always do, this is a tribute to Outkast and other groups I'll have on my list. Well, not groups, we'll say duels per se. Just music that, you know, maybe some of us haven't thought about in a while, that just brought us fun. Even back, I'll even take us back to the good times when we went to the club, before all the fighting and the, you know, in the drug era and all that. When clubs were fun, you know, when people went to have fun. So I'm gonna kind of speak on that a little bit, and some of the songs that one remembers listening to. And I met some cool sisters in some of these times. You know, I know the club is not the place to find your soulmate. You know, I'm always rhyming. I don't know why I always be rhyming. I just always end up doing it. I don't do it on purpose. It just happens. I mean, as I said, I've been writing rhymes and, you know, kind of messing with music since the 90s, the early 90s, but probably before that. So, you know, when you do something, and again, this is whatever that is, you know, our abilities, you know, embrace our skills and abilities. When we practice things over time for so long, it becomes what I always say, seventh nature. Not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. No, seventh. We're trying to go up. We taking it up a whole nother level, you know, in this time of awareness and exposure. Yeah, but I just, you know, like I do it like I always do, you know, giving tribute to Outkast. And again, I'm gonna speak on that era when the clubs before the gangs, and, you know, when going out, when people just went to have a good time and dance. So And I remember those golden moments. Again, I even met some cool sisters in these times. And it wasn't always about sex. It was sisters I met that was cool. Man, we used to just go out every weekend. And there wasn't no sex or nothing involved. We were just cool like that. And we used to look forward to like, hey, what you doing? That's the coolest thing in the world. When you can build a real friendship with a sister like that. And I've had many. And I had one sister I spoke on named Stacy. And which was a true blue sister, and her brother and I were best friends, which name was Les. And we were best friends, and that's how I met her. And her and I became best friends. And I've met a few sisters like that. We were real good friends. And I remember going to the club, and most of the time I went to the club, it was with females. It was with sisters. I don't know. I always had more fun with the sisters. I mean, I had fun with the brothers too. Sometimes it was brothers I went to the club with, but a lot of times the fun that I had was with the sisters. Especially when you're cool with them and they're comfortable with you and they know you ain't on no bull or nothing like that. I'm telling you, that's the best friendship, and it's rare. So brothers out there, we know the sisters that we're friends with, and we know the sisters that we want to court. Like the old folks used to say, court. And you have an understanding. Because there were times when I wasn't aware, but I had those moments because I said how I was when I was younger. But I had those moments when I was aware, so I will say that because all my young life wasn't bad. So, because I think I speak on how I was when I was younger, but I had those moments, those spurts where we have a little, we have some wise moments, So I did have some moments. I never really was a disrespectful brother to women, sisters in general. I never really been disrespectful. Let me see how I can explain it. But I did have more than one female friend. Just put it like that, So, but I wasn't like disrespectful. I didn't run over women. Now, I did speak the language. Let's go get these hoes. I did do that. I did talk like that. But I wasn't an out asshole. You know what I mean? But it was work to be done. So, again, but I had those moments where I was respectable. And because I remember those times, I used to go, this sister, because she had a car and I didn't. And we used to go out every weekend. There was no sex involved. I don't know. It just kind of happened that way. And we just used to hang out, and it was cool, So I remember those moments. So I brought that up, because Outkast kind of remind me of those times. Because I remember hearing their songs in the club amongst other artists that I will name on this list. And I would say I got 4 segments. Like I said, it'll be dual. It'll either be a brother or a sister or 2 brothers. And just songs I remember in the club, and all of us will remember that were fun, All right, so, and I want to read a summary on embracing our skills and/or abilities, and it's important, and that's whatever that is. And I want to give a salute to Jadakiss. I like reading little quotes from artists or anybody, but especially those who are hip hop artists. Salute to Jadakiss. Always keep it real. I see him in interviews. It's wonderful. I wanted to read something that he said was pretty dope. All right, here we go. Leaders and teachers with a student spirit. Thank those for riding along. Keep that divine in our life. Talk to, get in those moments of solitude. Go to connect to that divine force. Ask for protection for ourselves, from ourselves, and from ourselves so we don't become our own worst enemy. So we can develop our skills and abilities in our music, our life in general. All right, let's read this quote from Jadakiss. Jadakiss, salute. To lead an orchestra, you have to turn your back on the crowd. Especially if it's toxic. Now, it's many ways, because everybody's mind is different. It's many ways you can take that. To me, it's like not going with the flock, doing our own thing. As long as it's not hurting ourselves or hurting no one else. As I spoke on recently about centering ourselves, we have to find something righteous to center ourselves. We hear that saying, this too shall pass, but it'll pass, but we still gotta, we have to master ourselves, as I always say. So, and not jump off our impulses so things can pass. In order for things, we can say that, but some people cock it all up. We don't let things just pass and kind of observe and learn, so things can pass and we can sidestep, making wrong impulses. As I say all the time, impulses are out of control. Just take a look around, folks. So that was I like that. That was dope, I think. To lead an orchestra, we have to turn our back on the crowd. And the crowd can be, that's symbolic. That can be the world, person, place, thing, fear mongering, news has always got drama, just things like that, and focus on our core, ourselves, children, family. You know what I always say. All right. And like I said, of course, I'm gonna play a couple songs, and but I wanted to read some background on Outkast, and I want to read some background on Outkast, and salute to those that's been riding along. My hip hop heads, stay with it. Those who pursuing music or craft, singing, stay with it. Be as independent as possible, and listen to your heart. That's what Lauryn Hill said. People was telling her what she should do and what she shouldn't do, and she blocked all that shit out. And that goes back to that quote I just read from Jadakiss. In order to lead an orchestra, we have to turn our back on the crowd. So that's what Lauryn Hill did. She chose to listen to her heart and not her head, and not her desire. She didn't give in to so-called desires, because sometimes so-called desires can be an illusion within our own selves, let alone the world, person, place, thing. And it comes through music too. It does show. Again, we'll always speak on that core, as we all do. Some of our greatest philosophers, brother or sister, will always tell you to get into that core. All right, because that's how we can manifest great music. When it, even if it's, we might hear some artists might say something that we might not agree with, or or something like that. But if it's coming from the heart, as long as we do get to a transformation stage and we do mature and change, we all go through a transformation. That's something I always keep in my mind, So, but I want to read some background on the one of the most talented, entertaining lyricists, two brothers, Andre 3000 and Big Boy, because they got it in, as you can see on my banner. You see him, Andre 3000 grinning from ear to ear. Yeah. So, and Big Boy was jamming. I like, dang, Big Boy can dance. I didn't know Big Boy could dance like that. I never really, because I remember I hadn't seen the video in a while. I always knew Andre 3000. He always danced, and he kind of reminded me of Prince. Real talk. If I didn't say that already, they put me in the style of Prince a little bit. Andre 3000 do, but Big Boy, when I seen him dancing, I didn't think he couldn't dance, but because that's just in melanated brothers and sisters. We just got that magnetism. We got skills like that. We can dance without even going to school, but But when I watched him, because I look at him as like just an artist, like who is an artist we know that really don't dance but got skills? You know what I'm saying? Can't think of nobody off the top of my head. I would say like maybe L Cool J. He's not a dancer per se, more of an artist, but he can dance. He do the swag moves and stuff like that. Hand gestures and stuff, but. That's how I kind of looked at Big Boy. But when I seen him dance, it's like, wow, Big Boy is really dynamic. That was dope. Took me back to Hammer time. We Hammer threw down. Hammer was phenomenal. I spoke on Hammer in the past. He's on hip hop list. I spoke on him, and he's definitely in there with Having Fun as well as Heavy D. He was another one of them. Rest in peace and Empire. I always bring up Heavy D. He was another one of them that danced. Having Fun, Salt and Pepper, they were the same way. I love groups like that, and there's some more that I could probably think of, but that just come off the top of my head. The dancing groups that was just fun, New Edition, there were another one. Janet Jackson, we already know how she danced. Man, dope. Militant, I love that militant style of Janet Jackson, and any groups like that. That's just a few off the top of my head. All right, let's read this background on Outkast. Two dynamic brothers. I'm telling you, when I watched that video, it sent chills to my body. Big Boy was throwing down, and when they was doing the scissor dance, how I don't know how I explain it. The scissor dance is like, you see how he's standing on my banner. You know how you switch leg, but you go back to that stance. That's the dopest dance, and that's what Big Boy was doing. Don't you think I'm so sexy? And do that scissor dance. It's dope. All right. Outkast, sometimes written out. Let me see. Outkast was an American hip hop duo formed in Atlanta. Before I finished, I wanted to make a correction on Diggable Planet. I think I pronounced it Digital Planet. And so I'm so sorry for that. If I be mispronouncing names and titles, please forgive me. Sometimes I don't know I'm mispronouncing it. And I think I mentioned an artist in there. I said angry. It was pronounced angry. I don't know why I said angry. So forgive me if I mispronounce words and titles. So, and this, if I'm not mistaken, it's Diggable Planet. And I think I said Digible because it's diggable, because it's Digle. So that's Diggable. So forgive me for saying that wrong because I think it was Diggable Planet, not Digible Planet. So I just wanted to make that correction. All right, I'm going to continue reading the background for one of the most iconic, talented two brothers in hip hop. All right, Outkast was an American hip hop duo formed in Atlanta, Georgia in 1992, consisting of Big Boy, Antoine Patton. See, that's this again. I said this before. This is why I like to kind of connect with artists and get to know, not to be nosy, just to connect with them, because I don't even know their names. I just like knowing about them, like I did Bob Marley, other artists I've watched biographies on and researched. All right, Big Boy, Antoine Patton, and Andre 3000, Andre Benjamin, I like that, formerly known as Dre, widely regarded as one of the greatest and most influential hip-hop acts of all time. That is so true. The duo achieved both critical and acclaimed and commercial success from the 1990s to the early 2000s, helping to popularize Southern hip-hop with their intricate lyricism, memorable melodies, yes, I know, right, and positive themes, emphasis on positive, while experimenting with a diverse range of genres such as funk, psychedelic, I'll be mispronouncing words like I said. Psychedelia, jazz, and techno. Yeah, that definitely describes Andre 3000, all the above, and Big Boy. That's why they were so different. That's why their music was so magnetizing. Everything, like I said, that video, they was jamming, man. And you can tell when somebody is like natural and not like the way they did in that video, like the camera wasn't even on them. That's how natural it was. So salute to Outkast, and of course we all seen the video, but it was just dope. I forgot how dope Big Boy and Andre 3000 was. Like I said, he was just cheesing, and Big Boy was killing that scissor dance, and Andre 3000, like I said, with them long ass legs. Yeah, but let me see. Then down at the bottom it has Outkast performing in 2001. Let me see. Left to the right, Andre 3000 and Big Boy. Yeah, they was having. It shows a picture of them performing in 2001. It looked like they were outside. But salute to Outkast. All right, and I'm gonna do like I always do. I got a surprise group that I'm gonna read, but it's toward the end. And okay, salute to Outkast. This is a tribute to them, and thank that great divine for the music. Thank them that they came together. The groups that came together and brought great music, man. I'm so glad that they put their heart and soul in it and didn't waste their time, and came together as two of the most iconic brothers of our hip hop time. Heavy hitters, hip hop heavy hitters. Part 6. All right, now we're gonna move over to Ja Rule and Ashanti. Now, I've spoke on them before. My son and I have discussed them, and they are on past hip hop lists. But I said when I speak on hip hop, it's different categories. So sometimes you'll hear certain names come back up. But this goes back to that era of the club I was speaking on, and I remember hearing these songs. Actually, Ja Rule and Ashanti, always on time. Gave you my all. That reminded me when I was married, because my wife, she doesn't look, my ex-wife, she doesn't look exactly like Shantae, but she always reminded me of Ashanti. And salute to Nelly and Ashanti, which is a power couple. They look great together. I always kind of speak on that. But I remember that song because that's when I was married, and which my wife was she was a good sister. She was. It was other things that got in between us. It really even wasn't even us, to be honest. But it always reminded me of that time. So as I said, I wanted to go back to when people used to go to the club to have fun and there was no fighting. I remember hearing Ja Rule songs, and not just that one, the one he did with J-Lo, all of them. I remember those songs. I remember the song he made with J-Lo. I forgot how it go. I can't remember how it go. But we remember the song he made with J-Lo. The way you walk, the way you talk, I'm real. Way you smile, the way you look, drive me wild. I love Ja Rule voice. But I remember that, and I remember that particular song. This is when after I wasn't married. Matter of fact, because I don't want to pay me. Well, you was married. What you doing dancing with a girl? But I remember this song, that song he made with J-Lo. And I was actually dancing with a Latino girl, and we were dancing off that song. And it was just one of those nights where anybody that ever used to go to the club, I'm talking about before the fighting and all that, when we had a good time, when you had to worry about that. We remember those nights where just everything went right. Everything just clicked. And that was one of those nights. And I remember that song was playing by Ja Rule and J-Lo, and I was dancing with this Latino girl. And that song was playing. It was just, man, we just vibed. It was so dope. And we danced from that song from the beginning to end. It's like when it first came on, I don't even know how we ended up dancing with each other. It's like I got up the courage to ask her, and she said yeah. And I wasn't all on her, aggressive. I just danced with her, you know. And the more comfortable she felt, the more she got closer to me, and we would just vibe and dance. It was so dope. And I never forgot that. And that was I'm trying to think when that was. It had to been, because I don't want to get the year wrong, but I know it had to been 2000, somewhere around there, 99, something like that. I don't remember. I didn't look it up. I don't remember exactly when that, but it was around 2000, somewhere around that era. And I remember that. And that was the most wonderful time. And she was beautiful. The Latino girl, she was beautiful. And she was so nice. Yep. And I never saw her again. That was crazy. But we had the most beautiful time. Like, for that moment. Like, it was meant for us to dance with each other. And everybody was standing around us. It was like the spotlight was on us. So I just never forgot that. But I had good times with my wife, too, when I was married. Because that's another song I remember with Ja Rule and Ashanti, Always on Time. I remember dancing with my wife on that song when nobody else would get on the floor. And she was scared to get on the floor. I grabbed her and took her on the floor. And it was just me and her on the floor. And that's the song we were dancing off of, Ashanti and Ja Rule. So salute to Ja Rule for not wasting his talent, his skills and abilities, and embracing it. You know, that's why he's still standing today. You know, real talk. Ja Rule done come through a lot of adversity, have faced a lot of hate, all kind of stuff. You know, so I like Ja Rule. You know, I like other artists. I don't get into the beefing thing. You know, I don't get into that. So, you know, because I'm not in people's lives. So I don't get in people's lives unless to connect with them, not to be nosy. All right, so salute to Ja Rule. And I remember those songs and those times when times were good when I was young, when I wasn't making bad mistakes when I was young. All right, so salute to Ja Rule and Ashanti. And I got actually Ja Rule's on the list again with another sister, but I'm gonna speak on that when I come back. So I got one more. I got another dual group that I want to speak on that we all remember. It's kind of a surprise. And I got Ja Rule on the list again, but it's with another sister. A song that was dope that I love they made. So I'm gonna get to this song, and I still want to read a summary, and I do that right after I come back. Yep, when I come back. And I just wanted to break down embracing our skills and or abilities, how important it is. Because I don't want to just brush over things. Like we used to, or not we used to, or like I used to. I like to stop and ponder things, and that's reason with oneself, as I heard from my great brother Kwaku. Salute. We have to reason with our own selves. Keep our let me see. How can I put it? What's the analogy that a lot of our great philosophers like to use? That needle, keep our needle as straight as our compass, that needle in our compass, keep it as straight as we can possibly have it. Some people's needles jumping all over the place. I've been there. I know. So, things like this can be therapeutic. Speaking right now, doing this, this is like speaking to that great divine and reasoning with oneself. And the icing on the cake is having listeners listen to my generals, current subscriber, new subscriber, anybody that view. If you get anything positive out of what I say or my son Lord Lamont say on any of these father and son discussions. Take that positive energy and pass it on to someone else. So, and show others that they have skills and abilities. We all have something we know how to do. That's some of us know it and some of us don't know, but how we can find out is to get into our subconscious, get into our soul, and bring that crap out, whatever that is. But especially hip hop, because that's what I'm speaking on. Hip hop, heavy hitters, part 6. I'm always gonna give some insight, because there were those that gave me insight via brother or sister or family in the world, online. It's great when we have a righteous listening ear, ready to learn. Even when we make a mistake, as I talked about how I mispronounce names and stuff, it's all right. That just let we know we're human and not no damn robot. All right, I want to get to these songs now. Of course, I gotta mess with the computer. I gotta get to it. And let me see. I gotta get to it. All right. Yep. And let me see. The first song will be This Is Chess, and this song is on my channel actually. And like I said a few minutes ago, beginning of this here podcast, we give our perspectives on the serious stuff, serious things, person, place, things in life, and we also have fun, because I gotta get your dance on. That's the name of the other song I'm gonna play. But the first one is gonna be This Is Chess, and just give me a moment. I gotta mess with the computer. They put ads on some of my videos now. On this song, they got an ad on it. Ain't that something? I wonder what that mean. I kind of know what it mean, but what do it really mean? So, but we stay humble. We stay appreciative. And as I heard a great brother say, this ain't mine. It's just in my spirit. He said, enjoy the process. I say, enjoy the journey. It's the same thing. Enjoy the journey. There is no destination. It's an illusion. You hear me say that from time to time. A lot of times that's for me to remind myself. And that goes back to having fun. That's why I'm going to play this song called Get Your Dance On. But not yet. The first one will be This Is Chess. All right, got to get to it. All right, I got to get to it and mess around with the computer. Thank those that's been riding along. Thank you for your patience. Let me see. I got to play with it. All right. Remember, this is chess, not checkers, brothers and sisters. Go.
Try our best to get our rest, brothers and sisters, mind, body, and soul. Gee. Try our best to get our rest, y'all. This ain't checkers, this is chess, y'all. Try our best to get our rest, y'all. This ain't checkers, this is chess, y'all. Making sure we get our rest and do our best and be ready for any test. They haven't always been like this, I confess. This not checkers, this is chess. I know we hear this again and again. Gotta take that time, go within. Thankful for family and good friends. We just rise, keep our eyes open wide. Gotta stay up in this fight and keep doing right. We purify, so dang wise. Got that divine, never compromise. Try your best to get that rest, y'all. This ain't checkers, this is chess, y'all. Try your best to get our rest, y'all. This ain't checkers, this is chess, y'all. Flow so strong on every song, divine power in your zone. One will anoint and motivate and get you to the point with this grace. Nothing but love in this place. Protect oneself, a righteous space. Be a beast, a righteously, making sure that we see a fucking mind free. Never ever get on our knees. Vibrate high, can't be denied. Got that light, and we are that we comprise. Gotta stay focused in this life and never compromise. You know why? Yeah. Gotta make sure we get our rest, y'all. This ain't checkers, this is chess, y'all. Do our best to get our rest, y'all. This ain't checkers, this is chess, y'all. Stay fluid on this music, gotta do it, never lose it. I'm the truth, do exactly what I gotta do. Try my best to be a good dude. I'm a beast that you can see when I get on this beast, but I got that right deep in deep. Nothing gonna stop me in these streets. I get that rest, trying to be the best, trying to touch the
North, south, east, and the west.
west. This ain't checkers,
This is chess, y'all.
try your best to get a rest.
y'all.
This ain't checkers,
This is chess, y'all. All right, brothers and sisters, real talk. This ain't checkers, this is chess, y'all. Once we know that, we can be somewhat free. That's a hard pill to swallow. And many of us, brothers and sisters that are like really aware, that's a question that we ask ourselves. We can be free in some areas, but don't underestimate this here social media and or media. Are we really free? But we can strive to be in some areas. We just, certain things you have to let go. Being free is a state of mind all day, every day. Like old great Malcolm X said, everything begins with a righteous thought. All right. Now, as I said, we speak on the serious things, but we also have fun, which leads me into the next song. Every now and then, get our dance on. I told you I be rhyming. I swear I won't be trying to. But get our dance on like Outkast did. And don't you think I'm so man, they jammed in that video. They danced their butt off. But yeah, that's what we gotta do. Stand in the mirror and dance. Just be goofy for no reason. We gotta, I'm telling you, we do that because it lets us know that we're human, as I said before. So, all right, get your dance on.
Brothers and sisters, get your dance on. Get your dance on. Gotta have fun sometimes. Get your dance on. Brothers and sisters, get your dance on. Gotta have fun sometimes. Get your dance on. Brothers and sisters, get your dance on. Yeah, ain't no such thing is no ground. We gotta have some fun. Yeah, sometimes just stick with that divine. We living in a world of creative design. Yeah, keep on moving through. This how I never lose. And I got things make us never confused. Yeah, and never ever be no fool. But in this life, we never run. But looking up and straight to the sun. I say thankful for my daughter and my sons. But never ever forget to have fun. Get your dance on. Brothers and sisters, get your dance on. Gotta have fun sometimes. Get your dance on. Brothers and sisters, get your dance on. Gotta have fun sometimes. Yeah, can't always be deep, but making sure that we see we agree, man, to disagree and keep on going in these streets. Yeah, making sure that we free. Ain't no devil ever gonna stop the E. I stay here on this is song, doing things, yeah, to make us strong. Yeah, but we got to have fun. Yeah, looking up to the sun, like I said on the last verse. Yeah, little dancing, man, it ain't gonna hurt. And get your dance on. Brothers and sisters, get your dance on. Gotta have fun sometimes. Get your dance on. Brothers and sisters, get your dance on. Yeah, get your dance on.
Yeah, get your dance on. That's right. Gotta have fun sometimes. That's on my channel here too. And it's like a disco type video, and it shows like a digital shadow images of girls dancing. So, like I said, gotta get our dance on. Gotta have fun sometimes. Everything can't be serious, because that's something I had to learn. Had to learn to kind of ease up, lighten up. Because I remember when I first started speaking, I was too stern and too, this is EBXCARES, and I was too serious. I had to lighten up. So we gotta do in life. Gotta learn how to have fun sometimes. All right, now I'm gonna get back to my mojo music, as I call it, and we're gonna get back to this hip hop list. And I got a surprise group that's a duel. And yeah, get my music back here. Yep, I got a surprise group that's a duel, and I want to read one of the other list, the other artist, the other collab with Ja Rule that she did. He did with another sister. Salute to Ja Rule. Again, this is a tribute to Outkast and groups that I thought kind of were similar to them, that resonated, that brought that fun, as well as talent, rawness, and just all out talent, iconic, so salute. All right, the next one is Ja Rule and Mary J. Blige. I love that song, Rainy Days. I think that was a wonderful, beautiful collab, as well as Mary J. Blige and Method Man. That was another great duo. I spoke on them. I don't know, they on the hip hop list, on one of these hip hop lists. Yeah, again, so if you don't hear certain artists or names, I either already talked about them, or not talked about them, but spoke on them, or I haven't got to them yet, because it's a lot of artists, brothers and sisters, So salute to Mary J. Blige, to Ja Rule and Mary J. Blige. I love that song. All of those rainy days took a lifetime trying to get away. And they talking about something in that song, real talk. So salute to Mary J. Blige. She's on R&B list. I spoke on her. I said she's like a female Al Green. I reiterate it. I listened to Mary J. Blige back when she used to wear the hat and the glasses and all that, when she was like going through things, and I was going through it too. I used to listen to her music back then. So Mary J. Blige, you helped me get through some tough times. You soothed the brother's soul, your music. So music, all the work and stuff that some artists did, it wasn't for nothing. That go for Ja Rule, Outkast, those who just brought that energy and some meaning and fun, because that is an element to music. Gotta have fun with it. And that's any craft or ability, or skill. Gotta have some fun too. All right, so salute to Ja Rule and Mary J. Blige for that duel. And last but not least, Yin Yang Twins. And I know we remember the Yin Yang Twins. And I want to read because they was funny and crazy. That's why I said I wanted to pick groups that was similar to Outkast, and I think they were pretty similar, because we all know they were dynamic, crazy. The videos used to be entertaining. I think those are two other brothers that really own their craft and really, embrace that swag, that skill, that hip hop skill, So, and I remember hearing their songs in the club, and it was high energy, So, and I have to do a little research on some of the songs they did. I can't remember off the top of my head, and and I always remember of an era that they were coming from. They were younger, some of the songs might not have been some of us might not agree with the things they said, but they were younger, as I was, you know what I'm saying? But I just remember hearing their songs in the club, and they were fun, and dancing music. All right, let's go. The Yin Yang Twins are an American hip hop duo consisting of Kane, born Eric Jackson on December 16th, 1978, 8 years after me, and D-Rock, born D'Angelo Holmes. Oh, I like that. Or D'Angelo. D'Angelo Holmes on February 23rd. He was born the same month my brother was. My younger brother, Marlon. All right. He was born on February 23rd, 1979. Despite the name, the duo are not twins, brothers, or related in any way. I'm pretty sure a lot of us knew that. See, Kane and D-Rock, before their concert, and showing a picture of them in Berlin in May 2007. I don't know how. I guess that's the most recent thing I could. They might have done something since then, but that's the most recent. So salute to Yin Yang Twins for the energy they brought. I don't really hear their name come up really. I like to know what they were doing. I'm gonna have to do some research on their music. I know they had a lot of dancing music, but I wanted to see if they had any meaningful music. But I put them on the list because they were fun, and that's what I was kind of looking for. This music that was fun and and took me back to golden times, like I talked about Ja Rule and Ashanti and J Lo in those times, and even other artists as well as Outkast, Yin Yang. A lot of their songs were in and around that area, especially Outkast. So I definitely remember them. I remember walking in on "Don't You Think I'm So Fresh, So Sexy, So Fresh and Clean." I remember walking in on that song. It was dope. Like I said, I remember those nights. As many of us, I'm sure, if anybody that used to go to club can relate to this. I just remember those nights where everything went right. Everything was alignment. You know, it was just cool. I remember nights like that, you know. So, Outkast, Ja Rule, and other artists I've named, they bring me back to those times, when music was fun, and people wasn't there and brothers, excuse me, you know what I'm saying, and respectable. That's just, man, a lot of us still have that in us, but it's hard to incorporate it in this superficial, man, fake ass world we living in. But again, embrace our skills and or abilities, take ourselves out of this, hustle and bustle of the world, get into our skills and whatever that is, our abilities, gifts, and do what we love what we do. As long as we what's the main principle of that great divine? As long as it don't hurt ourselves or hurt no one else, because great divine don't want us hurting ourselves either, so. All right, now I want to read this summary about the benefits of embracing our skills and or abilities. And then I'm going to salute you brothers and sisters on to the next hip hop heavy hitters. And this is part 6, or motivational speech, music, father and son discussion, book session, whatever that great divine put in one's heart, that's what I'll spew out to the world, All right, so let's, leaders and teachers with a student spirit, let's read this summary about embracing our skills and or abilities. Let's go. Embracing and developing skills and abilities leads to numerous benefits, including increased confidence, greater career satisfaction, improved cognitive functions, what I speak on a lot, and a stronger sense of personal fulfillment. It also enhances adaptability to change, expands social networks, and fosters a growth mindset. Because if we're always looking to grow, we're always looking to learn, man, life will be almost a breeze. All right. It will help with personal and professional growth. It's, like I said, increase confidence and self-esteem as we learn new skills, become proficient and in areas once struggled. That's why I would say get into that inner core. Some of our greatest philosophers of our history of all time, brother or sister, general, will always and forever say, you will always hear us say, get into that core, go within. I mean, there is no other way. That's why we hear it so much. And many of us have been there. That's why you hear so many of us say that so much, So there is no, you have to go through to get through. I know we hear that a lot, but that's the truth. When you've been through it, we know what it is. So that was just some things I wanted to say, and wanted to list some artists like I always do. Again, salute to Outkast for sending chills through my body from watching Big Boy jamming and Andre 3000 just cheesing. They just look like they had a ball in that song. So I love artists who enjoy what they do. Again, salute to all the artists I've read and all artists out there, whether you're solo, group, and you really love your craft and you haven't compromised and, you made it through the fires. I salute you. And anyone, not just artists, but anyone in general, brother, sister, family, thank those for coming in to another edition of EBX Discussion, Hip Hop Heavy Hitters, Part 6. And look for more tributes. And again, salute to Outkast for what they brought. And many groups like them, as I said, and all the groups that I listed on my hip hop list, and other tributes to come. And more music from me, L'Oreal Lyrical, rest in peace and in power, and my son, Lord Lamont. You'll be hearing from him too. And he's just being productive in his life and taking care of his business, as we should, as men and women, brother and sister, And don't forget, brothers and sisters, man, embrace, and it's whatever it is, especially hip hop, because everything begins with the thought and comes through the core anyway. It is just beautiful when we do have that skill and gift of music, and we don't even have to sing or do hip hop. Just having a musical ear, that's a skill too. Because if you got a good ear, you can sift through the toxic shit, real talk, but understand it at the same time. I find myself doing that. I used to just like deflect toxic shit, Now I deflect, but I understand. I try to go deeper now. That's a good space to be, which can take work, real talk. But when we get there, we know when we know. And when we do, that's when we embrace our skills and or abilities, brothers and sisters. Don't you ever forget it. Salute.
Please.